Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Lynn Sanders, the life story coach, the founder of Difference Makers Media, and I'm here today to help you learn how to craft your story to build your impact, your influence, and your revenue. I'm so glad that you took the time to be here. So whether you're listening live or on the replay, I invite you to participate with me. Please put your name in this chat and you can hashtag live or replay and let us know where you're hanging out from. That would be great. I want to make this as meaningful as possible for you because ultimately everything that happens to us and around us is all based on what's our story. So I'm going to start with a question. And I've written cue cards since I can't share the screen. I'd like you to participate by answering in the chat, or if you have a piece of paper and a pen, you can write on your own paper and use your pen. I also ask you to unplug your cell phones or turn off your regular phones, and let's just focus for right now on making impact from your story, okay? Let's take a deep breath first. And relax, let it out slowly. One more breath. One more. Doesn't it feel good? Well, there's a reason for doing that too, because I want us all to get in touch with our inner selves and feel that calm. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, given that half the year is already over, what's your priority right now to achieve before the end of the year? Is it refining your message, gaining more visibility, or attracting more clients? So write down either 1, refining your message, 2, gaining more visibility, or 3, attracting more clients. Now, all those 3 elements you can find the answer to all of them actually in your story. And why is that? Well, because our thoughts affect our feelings, and our feelings affect our actions, and our actions are what create results. So those thoughts really are what is the story inside our mind. I'd like to share a beautiful quote from Ram Dass that gets you aware of the thoughts of our mind. And I have it somewhere here, and here it is. Remember, we are all affecting the world every moment, whether we mean to or not. Our actions and state of mind matter because we're so deeply interconnected with one another. Working on our own consciousness is the most important thing that we are doing at any moment. And being love is the supreme creative act. Listen to those words, being love. It's not doing, being. We're all in a state of being. It's our vibrational frequency. And so we can attract people to us by our inner state. I'm going to help you today to be aware of our states and how you can use your inner state to craft your story to bring you the results you're looking for. So first, let's talk about story on the inner side. And I'm going to share with you my story, my why, that motivates me to want to shine a light on difference makers. People like you, entrepreneurs, nonprofit leaders, business leaders who are really focused on doing positive actions in the world. People want to empower, transform, and inspire others to make a bigger difference. My story really begins at a very devastating time in my life. It was December 16th, 2004. I was 50 years old, and I got a phone call suddenly at 11:30 at night from my brother Mark. I was surprised someone was calling so late, and I picked it up, and my brother said, "Lynn, I have bad news for you. Mom just had a heart attack, and it doesn't look good." This completely shocked me. I had no idea that this could have even happened. She didn't seem to have had heart problems before. He hung up and said, "I'll call you right back." Well, my brother Mark really did that as a favor for me because he knew she had passed away very suddenly, and he wanted to give me a few minutes at least of time to absorb the horrible news. So about 15 minutes later, he called back and told me that she was gone, and I just literally wailed. I felt like I was falling into a deep, dark pit with no bottom. I actually could feel pain in my chest, and it felt like my own heart was being pulled out because my mother was my dearest, most precious friend, and she still is from the other side. So at that point, because my inner state was so depressed and so grief-stricken, and I was feeling so hopeless, that it wasn't long before I started having back problems. Because inner affects the outer. And I ended up having 3 slip discs, and I could barely walk. I could hardly get around, and I knew I had to find an answer to relieve myself of the pain. I went from doctor to doctor, but no one seemed to help. Therapists couldn't help, and finally I heard about an energy healer. I didn't even believe in energy healing, but I figured, well, why not? I wanted to try anything other than back surgery. Well, it was pretty amazing because I didn't even believe that energy healing could help me. But one of the first things that this energy healer said to me was, Lynn, do you want to live? And I paused and said, well, I guess so. I'm married. I have 2 sons. I certainly would want to be around for them. And then he said, well, I guess so really isn't an answer. It's either a yes or no. Let me ask you another question. How would your mother want you to live? You know, you could be alive on the outside and dead on the inside. How can you best honor her memory? Well, that shook me up. I realized it was like a light bulb had hit me. Of course, I would want to live fully. That's what my mother would want. She wouldn't want me to live the rest of my days just being depressed and unhappy and feeling useless and wanting to kill myself. So that was a turning point for me, going from that really low bottom. And I decided to go on a journey of self-development and self-exploration to find out, well, why am I here? What difference can I make? And ultimately, I came up with the realization that I love stories, and what I can do is shine a light on people's stories so we can all uplift the world. Because I've been a writer for over 30 years, and I've always been aware of the impact of words. Words carry vibrations, just like our beings do. So when you purposely choose certain words, you create a vibrational state that can attract people or repel them. And so as a result of that, I decided to change my company name from Park Avenue Productions to Difference Makers Media because I wanted to let people know I was focused on helping them and you make a bigger difference. So it's important for me because I realized that not enough of us get the chance to tell our stories while we're still here. My mother luckily had written an autobiography because I had insisted for her, but unfortunately I didn't have enough of her on camera. And part of my wailing was the regret that here I had done videos for so many clients and I hardly had anything of my mother. I really wanted that. So I want you to be aware that your story matters too. You may not think it's so important, but every word, every thought, every action you have carries a ripple effect. And that ripple effect touches people's lives. So now let's get down into how do you craft your story well? Well, the first thing is, I gave you a hint from the beginning, is come up with your why. Why do you do what you do? There's a reason behind it. I want you to write that down, and if you'd like to share it on this chat, go ahead and do that. What is your why? The why is like this inner circle of your story. That's what drives you and moves you ahead. After you've written that down, the next question to answer is, who? Who are you telling your story for? So prior to having Difference Makers Media, when I was Park Avenue Productions, writing that works, I would write for everyone and anyone. Some of the projects were more interesting than others, but I was also involved in writing projects for ACCO USA, the world's largest office supply manufacturer. And I was writing about staplers, staples, paper clips, whiteboards. And those are important things for people to have, but it didn't touch my heart. And I realized after my mother's sudden passing that our time on earth is limited, and I wanted to make the best use of the time I have while I'm here. So that's why I changed my company name to Difference Makers Media, and I decided not to focus as much on stories that are technical in nature. I also work for a company that does computer components, and they help put the components together. I had written 6 different videos for them, and they loved the videos. But I realized I really wanted to write stories that will bring impact to people making a difference, whether it's in health and wellness, in education, in self-improvement, in social services, social justice. There are plenty of us out there who are doing good in the world. So that's my audience. Who is yours? Now let's get down to the main points, the keys in how to craft your story. Once you've figured out your why and your who. Every good story starts with a problem. Think back to the fairy tales that you heard. You wouldn't have turned the page unless you knew there was a problem, right? So in my story, I start out right away with the problem. And the problem was my mom's son passing, which led to a solution. So first, think about what problem you solve. It doesn't have to be personal, but personal also interacts or overlaps with your business purpose. So problems. What I saw is I help people clarify their mission, their vision, their wording. I help them be able to reach more people, build their connections, and ultimately attract revenue because I'm helping them craft a story that's compelling. You too are solving problems. You may not realize it, but every day you're solving a problem that someone else could benefit from learning about. Now, another thing you can do as you craft your story is you can agitate the problem. I don't know if you can see that. So agitate means being even more descriptive. You had heard me share my story of my mother's sudden passing, and I agitated the problem even more by describing what happened to me physically, where I couldn't even walk. I had 3 slipped discs. I didn't know what to do with my life anymore. And then, of course, at the end of the rainbow, we've got to get a solution. So how do you solve the problem? How do you solve it? You want to write that down and think, what is the solution that you are providing that makes you unique? You know, your story is important because you're connecting with people at the heart, you're helping them build their impact, and you're also making yourself stand out as someone unique. So your solution could be different from someone else's. Ultimately, that solution will lead to transformational benefits. So let me share some of the transformational benefits I've helped others achieve. After this very major disruption in my life, I went through a number of self-development courses, seminars, read lots of books, got lots of great coaches, and I realized that I can help people in clarifying their vision and their words and their message by sitting down and getting a story strategy session with them. They may want to have a story written, they may want a press release, they may want a video, they may want to have marketing and publicity. They're all around the crafting of story. So what are your benefits? The benefits that I ultimately have been able to provide for clients have resulted in 6-figure donations, doubling of memberships, and lots more followers for clients, thousands of followers on YouTube through the video interviews I've done, as well as being able to help people develop deeper relationships. Because really that's what storytelling is really all about. You want to be authentic because no one has your story. You see, I shared a deeply personal story. No one else has that. You may have things that are similar, but my story is a way for people to get to remember me, just as your story is a way for people to remember you. Remember, people first connect from the heart and then from the head. So if people ask you, what's your story? Rather than just telling them the facts, like, I'm a coach, there are a lot of coaches, you can start your story out with the benefits and put those benefits into a little mini story on social media. This is a great tip to use for LinkedIn. So on the LinkedIn profile, instead of just saying your title, I'm going to recommend take a look at my LinkedIn page, linkedin.com/in/Lynn Sanders. I don't have the words in front of me, but basically what I do is I share my benefits first, because if you only have a short amount of space, you don't have a lot of time to write a lot of words. But my LinkedIn profile goes something like this. Besides helping people build their visibility, their impact, their followers, so those are the benefits right away. And then you can add something personal. In my case, I think I wrote something like, I also love walking in the woods and playing piano. Those are my interests. So think in terms of how do you craft your story on social media that will get people to notice you and make them want to engage with you. I put this as another important thing to remember in your story. What's your secret sauce? What do you love doing that comes to you so naturally that it's just part of who you are? Well, my secret sauce is I love connecting people to others. It's almost like a puzzle. I love finding the people who could help other people and bringing them together. And that's something that I just do naturally. And I'm hoping right now that you can think about what's your secret sauce. What do you just love to do? For instance, one of my other brother is a natural fixer-upper. He's a scientist and he's a medical practitioner, but he loves figuring things out. And we always call on him to fix things in our home. So maybe that's something that you love to do. Think about it. What's your secret sauce? And what can you give? Again, when people tell their stories, they want to know that you care about them. And that's why this particular program is focused on what I can do to help you right now. So first give, then receive. So what I'd like to do now is let you know I have a little gift for you. My gift is if you go to my website at differencemakersmedia.com and put your name and email in the box on the page, you'll get a free 7-step story strategy guide. Why do I do that? Well, of course, I want to build a relationship with you first. Just like if someone you likes another person, you wouldn't start off the conversation by saying, "Hi, do you want to get married?" That's ridiculous, right? You'd want to develop a relationship and say, "Hi, would you like to have a cup of coffee, get to know each other better?" The same thing happens whether it's a website or on social media. You want to spend most of the time focus on other people and be like 80%, and the 20% of the time focus on yourself. There's a saying I really love that goes like this: people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So when you go on social media and you want to share your story or your benefits, first start building relationships. Look at what other people are doing and you can comment or like or share their news. Then they'll start to get to notice you. I've made cold calls to people who I've gotten to interview later, and I started first by looking for those who are sharing common characteristics that I like to shine a light on. So if I wanted to find a difference maker, for instance, I actually Googled difference makers. And years ago, I met an amazing woman, and I just wanted to share her name with you. Her name is Helise Grandma Sparky Bridges. She's the founder of Blue Ribbons Worldwide. And she's honoring people all over the world with a ribbon that says, "Who I am makes a difference." Her company used to be called Difference Makers International. So I just gave her a call one day. I looked at her website and I complimented her on what she was doing. That's such a great thing, honoring people with a blue ribbon that lets them know they're valued. And you too can go to that site, blueribbons.org, and honor people with a blue ribbon. Well, it turned into an interview and it ended up turning into a wonderful friendship, which I treasure to this very day. And I'm constantly in touch with Sparky, as she's called, because I'm now one of her Blue Ribbon ambassadors, and I love honoring people. And just as an extra for you today, I would like to take a moment and honor you for listening. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is, would you be willing to accept my gift? I have a blue ribbon that says, "Who I am makes a difference." And I want to honor you right now from my heart to let you know that you're making a difference to me right now by listening and caring and having a love in your heart to make a difference in the world. We both are connected, whether I know you or not, through the heart. Would you be willing to accept my gift? If the person says yes, then the next question is, may I have permission to put this above your heart, with the ribbon pointing upwards, towards making all your dreams come true? And if that's a yes, I'm going to continue. I will take the spark from my heart and ignite the spark within these cheerleaders who are jumping for joy, igniting your dreams to come true with this sound of bing! That's the sound that makes dreams come true. So I am sharing this with you because ultimately we want to honor everyone we meet, whether we have a blue ribbon or not. because we are all connected. And so when you go forth with your story, be sure to look at other people's words and messages and honor what they're doing, and then they'll be more likely to learn from you. So you've got my free gift at Difference Makers Media. And last but not least, I want to invite you to participate in my upcoming Craft Your Story to Make a Bigger Difference coming up next week, Tuesday, July 20th from 4 to 5 Central Standard Time. It's for 3 weeks. There's going to be a workbook, there'll be templates, recorded videos, small group sessions, and a bonus of a private session with me as well. This is the site you need to remember. It's, if you can read this, asklynsanders.com/craft your story. asklynsanders.com/craft your story, and you'll get a wonderful opportunity to be able to learn in more depth how to craft your story, how to tell it on camera, and how to share your story effectively so you can build your influence, your impact, your revenue, and make a bigger difference. Ultimately, we're all connected, and as Jane Goodall has said, and I love this message, we all get to make a difference in life. We just get to choose what kind of difference we want to make. So with those words, I want you to go forth, share your light, your love, be who you are, a difference maker, and let others know about you, because you do make a difference and your story matters. Thanks again for listening. Please be sure to share your comments, share this video if you liked it, and let me know your feedback. I hope to hear from you, and I hope you're able to join us in our class next week. Thank you so much.